Hey everybody, I want to just make sure everybody's got a chance to come on. I'm going to pull up this screen so I can read comments, because I know you guys have a lot to say about this subject. I'm in my gym attire, so you have to excuse me. I mean, you don't have to, but that would be great. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's see. I'm always interested in why it takes so long for both pages to catch up. It takes a couple of minutes. Well, everybody, so I'll just start. Welcome to the Sarah Lovell Show. Excuse my attire. I was at the gym. I had to go because I did a little cardio. You guys know that I do CrossFit, but today I needed a little bit of just mindless cardio, so I went ahead and did that because I desperately need it for my brain. All right, and we're good. Sure. Yay! Are we skipping? Tell me we're not skipping again. Yeah, we are still skipping. Unbelievable. And we have really good Wi-Fi now. I had Comcast come out and check everything, and it looks like it's still choppy. It's unbelievable. No, it's not good. So we got a little company next door, I guess. Oh, bummer. I honestly thought that if I got the strongest Wi-Fi that I possibly could, it would take care of that lag that you guys keep seeing, but it's doing absolutely nothing, which stinks because I really would just like it to run normally, but it's not. Ugh, stinks. Anyways, guys, so today, either way, we're recording, so I will just post this later. Unfortunately, I hope you can deal with the lag. That stinks. What a bummer. Actually, you know what? Give me one quick second, and I'm just gonna try a little thing here. Let me see. Plus, I want to give everybody a chance to jump on or jump off if you decide you don't want to watch. Because that's happened before. We lose people because they get the connection is, I don't know what the heck is going on. I had so today, so I don't know if you guys noticed that I've been doing some drives for a couple. I picked a shelter a couple of weeks ago. I did during Easter. I did an Easter basket. Brought some Easter baskets up to Daybreak Homeless Shelter. There is a shelter in East Boston, a family shelter that currently has 27 families. I want to put together as much stuff. I brought them some things a couple days ago. I want to bring up as much stuff as I possibly can to them. I'm just watching the feed on my actual page, and it's awful. It's just still skipping. I have no clue why it's doing that. But I guess we're just going to keep going, and I'll post it later, and that's just what's going to have to happen. So I don't know if you knew, but yeah, so we're doing that drive. It's Crossroads Family Shelter in East Boston, and I throw up posts about it, and I know you guys see it, and not everybody comments on it, and I don't expect everybody to give, but one thing for me is there was a time when I myself was homeless, and well, more than once, but the feeling of desperation when you're homeless is absolutely excruciating. So when I think about children and moms and dads who are currently homeless, it tugs at my heartstrings, and because I have been there. And so I decided to seek out local local family shelters, because I feel like if you're asking for help, you're looking for help, you need, maybe, I don't know, sometimes families, they get sick and tired of us, I don't know. But I don't know what people's reasons are, but we're going to go over a couple of reasons of why homelessness is so rampant. But I like to give, and I like to give back, and I'm in a position to be able to help. And I would like to see if we can get you guys to also jump on the bandwagon and help us give to these people, because there are children involved. I'm sure that some of you know, and if you haven't been homeless before, then I hope you never are, because it sucks. But if you are at a point where you're struggling and you're not actually homeless, it can happen. And we tend to, and I've done it myself, where I've caught myself, complaining about stupid things that don't make any sense to complain about. I think that I don't want to ever become ungrateful for what I've been blessed with. Yes, there's a lot of hard work involved. However, I like to at least be able to help. And so I'm asking for you guys to also help, because I feel like a lot of us are blessed. Well, we work very hard. It's not that anyone's ever handed us anything, but a lot of us work really hard. And again, when I was struggling, there were a lot of people that helped me. And so what I would like to do is see if I can get you guys on the bandwagon for this. I want to talk about a couple of different reasons for, when obviously the topic of the day is going to be homelessness. So I scribbled down 7 reasons that I could think of off the top of my head. So one would be finances, right? So like, you lose your job, or which has happened to me, and caused me to have to be homeless. Mental illness is a big thing. Like we see a lot of homeless on the street, and we're like, well, why don't they go and get help? There's never any like cookie cutter answer, especially when it comes to mental illness, as to why somebody would not try to get help. There is a lot of help out there, but when you struggle with mental illness, it is excruciating to go and put your name on a 3-month waiting list so that you can get therapy, so that you can then, if you are a person who needs medication, then wait another 3 months. So now you're 6 months out, and you're waiting for an appointment to see a psychiatrist so that you can get the medication, just to get your brain at a level where it needs to be, so that you can then begin to function and maybe get into a shelter and be able to be around other people. I don't take medication personally. I tried it at one point. It's for a couple of months, and it's not for me. But there are people who need it, and the process to get into therapy, if you're at that income level where you're struggling financially, or you're about to be homeless, or you're already homeless, if you're at that level, you have to it's not even about jumping through hoops. It's just that the process is so long that people end up giving up, or things happen. And I've talked about this myself, where living in the street or sleeping on people, couch surfing, can lead to new traumas, or new issues, PTSD issues. It is not safe living in the street for a male or a female, least of all a child. So I need you to understand, and I see this a lot. That people are saying, well, why are they homeless, and they're, why don't they go get some help? Well, I can promise you that it takes a ridiculous amount of strength and perseverance just to get to a place where you're able to actually receive the help. It's not like you walk into a building and there are 40 therapists sitting there for you to sit and talk about your shit. It's because there's just a process, and I get it, there's a process. I feel like there isn't enough help. I feel like there aren't enough programs, there aren't enough. I think in our area there's North Suffolk Mental Health, which is like the main and I know this because I've had to deal with it with my children, and I've had to do, different issues, and also for myself at one time. But they closed down one office, so everybody was forced to go to this Chelsea office, and then you have to wait, and then you sit and you talk to somebody who doesn't know anything about your story, and you talk to this doctor for like 15 minutes, and they just prescribe whatever sounds like it makes sense for your issues, and it may not mix with your body well, it may not be what you need. And so anybody who's listening who's ever been on any kind of medication can attest to this, that it doesn't always work the first run. Like, okay, they're always like mixing and matching and upping the levels and downing levels of this, and it's insane. So sometimes, and this, to me, this makes sense because I've been there, sometimes it's easier to not do anything. It's easier to just, believe it or not go get the help. Or you're on a list or something, and you're still sleeping on a bench or in a park or under a bridge somewhere, which I'm sure we've all seen. So we did the finances, mental illness, domestic violence is a big reason for people to become homeless, where I'm actually doing a domestic violence series, and I'm going to have some amazing women on, and guys, because I just want to remind you that mental illness, I just want to remind you that domestic violence happens to guys too, and there's no shame in that. There shouldn't be. Well, you won't get any judgment here on it, but there is a lot of shame around that. So with domestic violence, what happens is you have built your life, say, with someone, and this person is abusive, and whether you have a child with a person or not, I try to talk about it in a broad example so that people can understand that it is very difficult when there are children involved, but even so, domestic violence and abuse is more than just someone hitting you. They have already, by the time they're hitting you, they've already said things to you that made you feel less than what you are, or things that make you feel like everything that happens is your fault, or you're stupid, or you should have known, or I acted like this because you weren't acting right, or I was jealous, or like there's no excuse. But we'll get to that, and I don't want to get too deep into it because I am going to do the series, like I said, on domestic violence. But there are situations that are so bad where being without a place to live is sometimes better than living with this person who is abusing you, and it's like a fight or flight situation, and it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. I kind of want to say, like, your way of dealing with it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else, and it is very, very difficult to leave an abusive relationship. Very difficult. And I cannot stand people who say, well, why doesn't she just leave? Well, why did she stay with him for so long? Well, I don't believe that. Well, so whatever. I can't stand people who do that, because you don't know what it's like, and you don't know the kind of very deep mind games. And it's not even mind games. It's like getting the person to feel so low about themselves that they feel they need this if it's a narcissistic person, but abusive person, and we throw the word narcissist around all the time, but here we're talking about abuse and domestic violence, and it is extremely hard to, if you're in a situation where there are children, to bring walk out of a home without anything. So imagine, like, you think it's easy. Oh yeah, go pack your stuff and leave. Really? Well, these people who are abusers are not dumb. They just are assholes, and they're going to do everything in their power to keep you there. I personally had my child held over my head, and so that is one reason that kept me there years and years ago. And so without getting too deep into that, so we talked about domestic violence, mental illness, finances being a reason for homelessness, substance abuse, the big drugs. We're not going to get into whether it's a choice or not, because I find that we waste so much time talking about whether or not it's a choice, we forget that there's a lot of work to be done in that area. So substance abuse, getting kicked out of your house because you're using, and people and for good reason do not have to put up with your shit when you're an active addict. And I myself am 14 years of recovery, so I can say I understand it, and I know addiction because I have it. I have that brain, and I've gotten a lot of flack for my views on it and the things that I say. But I always say, listen, you're not me. So when I speak, I'm talking about my experience and what I've seen and the experiences that people have shared with me. And so getting upset with me about sharing my own views is pretty pointless. So you're not going to change my mind, but good luck with that. I think that we all have, I don't have a problem with people having other opinions and other views about any subject. And I'm capable of still being friends with and still having conversations with people. I have gum in my mouth. Having conversations with people who think completely differently without attacking them. And if you ever want to discuss something with me, I think that's great, as long as you're not attacking me. Once you start attacking me, then I'm all set. But so yes, homelessness, and I was in Boston the other day for something, and I went through that. I was up on Mass Ave, and we all know what Mass Ave is riddled with homeless, active drug addicts. And I get like a slew of different reactions. I get aggravated, I get annoyed, my heart hurts because I hate to see human beings like that. I remember when it makes me emotionally remember when I was so sick and living in the street and filthy, and I smelled, and I probably smell right now because I was at the gym. But so I get this multitude of emotions when I go through, when I'm on Mass Ave. It's really just like, you can't get someone clean, and we say it all the time, you can't love someone clean, and you can't talk someone clean, and they have to get clean when they're ready or when they're done. And it's so sad to see it. And we get, like, we can give and give and give food and give money and give, whatever it is, just to ease the suffering for the moment. I find that, like, with active addicts, it's I've given to people that I know are using like whatever it is, and I know that it's just temporary, because I know that I'm not fixing them, but I just do it because it's coming from my heart. I just want to ease their pain for a moment. And I remember when I was out there, people would do that for me, and it did ease my pain. I got some food for a moment, or I even went and got, a little liquid relief that helped me feel better at the time. Or I would go and pick up my drug of choice and get high, and and it's not a fix, and it just is what it is. And it's a deathly horrible thing to watch and to see. And it's just, there's so much of it now. I feel like with social media and the news doesn't generally, I don't see the news generally covering it often. I see politicians talking about how they're going to help fight the opiate crisis, but And just to, I just want to say, like, opiates are not the only drugs. Like, there's people are still smoking crack and living that life and getting killed too. So I just want to add that in, like, like that life is still dangerous for anybody, no matter what you're using. So we did substances. I'm sure somebody will message me later and threaten me for saying that. It happens every day. Whatever. Okay, so I taught, and then I just wrote the same thing. I'm going to just leave it with those things. We talked about domestic violence, abuse issues, mental illness. So I also want to say quickly too, like, you can develop mental illness from being abused also. So, and I don't like to always have every single show be about abuse, but I like to talk about the things that we always complain that our society sucks. Like, what's wrong with this? And why is society so bad? And what's wrong with people? And people will post something on Facebook, and they're laughing at, like, an addict or something, or someone that's homeless, or some girl. You ever see that that meme with the two chicks, and they both have the ankle bracelet on, and everyone's like, yeah, what city are they from? Right? And it's very clear that the girls are either, like, on meth or heroin or something, and they look terrible, and everyone's like, yeah, what city are they from? And everyone's like, Lynn, New Bedford, Lawrence, and it's, and everybody laughs about it. But think about it, those girls are, I don't know where they are now, I don't know them, but I'm saying, like, people, we forget that there are suffering human beings. Okay, and that's true. Like, people throwing around the word junkie, and I don't have a problem saying I was a crackhead. I don't have a problem saying that. People are very sensitive to the word junkie. I've used the word myself, and I'll tell you why. Because, and here it is. Like, I'm not a crackhead now. I was a crackhead. Like, I don't have a problem saying that. Like, if that's what you are. We are assholes and pieces of shit when we do horrible things. We hurt people. We steal. We do terrible things. And I deserve to be called a crackhead when I was using and when I was out there. I deserve to be called all kinds of things because the things I was doing were terrible. So I don't. And so on the flip side of that, I hate people using it as, like, this horrible, mean insult when they don't understand. So there's, like, I can't just be one way about it. I have kind of mixed feelings about things. And so if I can say one thing, like, crackhead, junkie, I mean, it is what it is, but I don't hate people. I don't hate the person. I hate what they're doing. I hate seeing people like that. I hate seeing suffering. It drives me insane. And so we need to remember, too, that we, as human beings, whatever the struggle is, we're still human beings underneath. Do I have to let someone who is actively using it come to my home? Absolutely not. I'm going to protect my life and my children. Excuse me. Am I going to, put myself, open up my life to, like, my personal space and my life? No. There are people who bring in people who are actively using into their homes, and I'll tell you something, that's that person's calling, and there are people for every situation. I can't do that. I can't. I have the 3-year-old, and I have my daughter at home, and I don't do that. And so it's okay that I don't do that. And it's okay for the people who are doing that. And now this whole show is going to become about addiction. And it's supposed to be about homelessness. But how do we stop it, right? Like, how do we stop homelessness, right? How do we end it? And I think that going to the source of why people are homeless, each individual, it has to start in our own community. And I feel like the more that we look, like what I'm doing now. So, and this is what I said, I go, like, what can you do? You can't just all of a sudden wake up and stop homelessness by upping welfare. That's ridiculous, or you can't stop homelessness by having a walk. I mean, you can raise money, you can, and that's great because it helps the people that are trying to transition. You're feeding people. Amazing. I would like to see, and I challenge you to do this instead of complaining about our society and the way that things look when you drive down the street, or complaining about those things and doing nothing. Look in your own communities and around you, because this is what I've started to do. Find the homeless shelters, find the family shelters. If substance abuse is something that's, close to your heart, if it's something that hurts you and kind of tugs at your heartstrings, find a program to donate to. Go in and speak if you can. Reach out to me if you want to reach out to me or the show. I'm always posting something. I'm going to be doing different things for different shelters, local shelters. So for me, one of the answers, and I don't like to ever be that person to go, the answer is this. One way that we can make a dent in our own surroundings, right? So we're Boston area, right? We can give what we have. Give some of what we have. I have been blessed to be able to work hard. When I struggled, everything you guys remembered when we were struggling, and then even way before that, before any of this, the show, the book, my second book, before any of that stuff became possible, I struggled. And I had to work really hard. But now all I can think about is the people that are at places where I was when I had to recreate my life. And they can do it too. They just need our help. And so that's the reason that I've been doing this. And I really would like you guys to kind of get on board with this. And if you can't, totally fine. Throw up a like, throw up a comment. Follow the YouTube, please. So I'm going to end now. And I really want you guys to think about it. Think about what you can do. Instead of throwing out your kids wreck their clothes, but if you have clothes that are, lightly used, and, fast kids grow, and you have a bag of clothes, shoot me a message. Shoot the show a message. Shoot me a message on my regular Facebook. Shoot me a message on LinkedIn if you're on my LinkedIn. So any of those things, anything, let's try to ease the lives of these people and just make it feel a little bit easier so that they can change their own lives. Because it is up to them, but it takes a village. And it kind of comes down to that. Like, let's help the people. And I hate saying less fortunate, because it's like people struggle. So if we can give people 10 fingers, come on, 10 fingers, I'll help you up. I'll help you up over that fence. Whatever it is that's holding you back, So I think that's going to be it for today. I am going to repost this. You'll be able to watch it without any skips. I don't know what the heck's going on with this thing. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please follow the YouTube page, The Sarah Lovell Show. And also the website slevel.com. And I will see you guys next Friday at noon, and we do have a really awesome guest for you. So have a great day, guys, and be kind to each other. All right, bye-bye.